This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana Kozlov.
And I'm Jackie Kostek in for Audrina. Thanks so much for being with us on this Monday morning. We want to get you right to breaking news this morning. 2 shootings overnight involving Chicago police.
New details unfolding right now about one of them, which happened at an assisted living facility. The other involved an off-duty officer. We want to begin now with the one at that assisted living facility in the Grand Crossing neighborhood. Marissa Perlman is live there. And Marissa, we just learned this was a deadly shooting.
That's right. Good to be with you both. This is near 75th and Dante. The Chicago Police Bureau of Detectives van still on scene, even though this happened really early this morning. And we do know now that police did shoot and kill a resident here after police say he threatened other residents inside this building with a knife.
Well, he was shot multiple times in the chest and right arm.
This is the Grand Regency of Jackson Park Supportive Living Facility. Now, this is advertised as a program for adults with physical disabilities ages 22 to 64 for people who need help maintaining their independence. Now, we do know the shooting happened on one of the upper floors of the building. Police say they got the call for a person with a knife inside just before 3 this morning. On scene, they found the suspect inside and tried to speak with him. That suspect then confronted officers while holding that knife. Now, officers say they tried to tase him, but the suspect continued to move towards those officers with that knife. That's when officers fired at the suspect, hitting him, and he was pronounced dead on scene. Now, we spoke with one resident who's lived here for 2 years now, and she tells us she heard loud banging inside early this morning, but was shocked when we told her what had happened inside her building.
It's scary, it's terrifying, I know. Yeah, I can't even believe it. I don't feel safe. I feel scared all the time.
Now, the identity of the suspect has not yet been released. We do know that the Civilian Office of Police Accountability is investigating this case. They will be investigating the use of force in this case. Now, as is protocol, those officers who were involved in this will now be placed at administrative leave while the investigation is ongoing. For now, we're live in the Grand Crossing neighborhood. I'm Marissa Perlman, CBS News Chicago.
Okay, Marissa, thank you for those updates. And let's turn now to our Darius Johnson, who's live at CPD headquarters following another police investigation, this time in Roseland. Darius, what have you learned?
Hey there, Jackie. Good morning to you. A very busy morning for Chicago Police and the Civilian Office of Police Accountability. And we're still waiting for official word from Chicago Police, who've remained tight-lipped all morning long. What we know so far, based on police scanner, based on the Civilian Office of Police Accountability, and based on neighbors in that Roseland neighborhood, is that this was a shooting involving an off-duty police officer. Again, what we know, it's still unclear at this time exactly who was hit and if that person exchanged fire with the officer, but all of this again happening in Roseland. Take a look at this video. It was just before 3:45 this morning when the Civilian Office of Police Accountability tweeted that they were on the scene of an officer-involved shooting involving an off-duty officer. This was at 106th and LaSalle. In this video, you can see officers going in and out of a home, and that's where they focus their investigation. Scanner reports indicate this involved an off-duty police officer firing shots at someone, and the Civilian Office of Police Accountability confirms an off-duty officer is involved. Now, neighbors at the scene told us around 3 a.m. they heard arguing, and then police showed up. They even saw one man being taken out in a chair to an ambulance. Take a listen at what we heard over police scanner.
The caller said his mother and father were arguing and fighting, and the brother came with a gun.
Now, again, neighbors at that scene tell us that an officer lives at that home with his parents and with several siblings as well. Again, what we don't know at this time are the circumstances that led up to this incident, if anyone was hit by gunfire, or if that person was taken to the hospital, or even if that person fired shots at that officer. All things we're working to figure out. But again, as we mentioned, the Civilian Office of Police Accountability was on the scene. This is normal. Whenever an officer fires their weapon, that officer will now be placed on administrative leave as a routine protocol. For now, we're live at CPD headquarters. I'm Darius Johnson, CBS News Chicago.
Darius, thank you. Also breaking overnight, a large police presence in the Chicago Lawn neighborhood. This was the scene near 63rd in California around 12:30 a.m. Chicago police say a 21-year-old man was outside when he was shot in the shoulder. They say he was taken to the hospital in good condition. So far, no one is in custody.
Now to a breaking news update. We now know the victim from the deadly Bishop Ford Expressway crash yesterday morning involved a Homewood Flossmoor High School student. Illinois State Police say the crash happened at 4:30 Sunday morning on the Sibley Boulevard ramp to the Bishop Ford Expressway. Now the South Suburban High School confirms Tamaya Lyons, a senior, died in the crash. It's unclear if she was driving or if anyone else was in the car at this time. Now the school says it has members of the crisis team available for students and staff today and tomorrow. And now to some stories happening today, starting with a court hearing for the man accused of shooting and killing 15-year-old Hadia Pendleton.
A hearing was scheduled for 9 o'clock this morning. In March, a judge ordered Mikhail Ward to stay behind bars, saying that he poses a threat to the community. Ward confessed on video to shooting and killing Pendleton. That will not be a part of the evidence in this new trial. It was thrown out on grounds it was obtained in violation of his constitutional rights.
A truck driver accused of driving drunk before crashing into a local high school bus in November of 2022 is expected to plead guilty today. Victor Santos was driving a semi in Indiana when the truck hit a bus carrying the St. Ignatius hockey team, injuring 20 players. Lawyers for the players say Santos has agreed to a plea deal that could see him face up to 20 years in prison. 18 players and their parents, along with 2 coaches, have filed a civil suit against Santos and 2 trucking companies.
Longtime Illinois Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky says she plans to announce today whether or not she will seek re-election. She's also hosting her 24th annual Ultimate Women's Power Lunch that will happen today at noon downtown. Schakowsky was first elected to Congress in 1998 and spent 14 terms representing parts of Chicago and the northern suburbs.
Now to your first alert forecast as we take a live look outside at 9:07 on this Monday morning. And it is a damp, soggy one and foggy too.
Let's turn now to meteorologist Kylie Miller, who is in our First Alert Weather Center with more on the day ahead. Kylie, good morning.
Good morning. So we are starting off with some dreary conditions, but the good news is by the end of the day, we will finally see some peaks of sunshine. However, today it's going to be looking and feeling like a Monday as the clouds are going to be ruling out. So our temperatures currently are in the 50s across the area, 50 degrees for O'Hare as well as Midway. For the airports, a little bit of that light mist still coming down for O'Hare, but overall across the region, just a few spotty rain showers will be possible going through the rest of this morning into the afternoon. By the evening hours, we are going to be seeing improvements and drying out. Temperatures for the immediate lakeshore area were in the 40s. Elsewhere, we're in the low 50s. Highs today only climbing a few more degrees. Upper 50s expected for today, maybe maxing out at 60 for our southern communities. We will finally see some late day sunshine closer to dinner time, and then tonight more clouds are going to be rolling back in, drying out as temperatures fall down into the 40s. So this is what we are tracking for today: a spotty rain shower chance. Tomorrow, a clearing sky. It's going to be warmer, but for the next several days, because of a strong northeasterly breeze, it will be cooler for the immediate lakeshore. More on your complete First Alert weather forecast when I return.
See you in a bit, Kylie. Thanks so much. Well, right now, jury selection is underway in the federal sex trafficking and racketeering case against Sean Diddy Combs.
This is a live look right now at the courthouse where the judge overseeing that case plans to bring in a pool of 50 prospective jurors every day until a jury is selected. Because of the high-profile nature of this case, the potential jurors have already been screened for bias through questionnaires. Christina Fan has a preview of what to expect.
Jury selection is now underway at a Manhattan courthouse in the federal case against Sean Diddy Combs. The 55-year-old hip-hop mogul faces 5 counts, including racketeering conspiracy and sex trafficking. Prosecutors argue he drugged his alleged victims and forced them to engage in sexual acts.
When Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse.
Combs's lawyers say he's innocent.
We're going to fight this case with all of our might until we don't have to fight any longer.
Combs's legal troubles began nearly 2 years ago when ex-girlfriend, singer Cassandra Ventura, filed a civil suit against him, alleging years of physical and sexual abuse. The two settled, though dozens more cases have been filed by other alleged victims. Combs denies the allegations. In March 2024, federal agents raided his Los Angeles and Miami homes. Then 2 months later, CNN aired this graphic video from 2016, which appeared to show Combs attacking Ventura, then his girlfriend, in a hotel hallway. He later apologized on social media.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
Attorney Judy Saunders says defense attorneys will try to change public perception.
You want that jury seeing Mr. Combs as relatable, as human, as being a father.
Last week, Combs rejected a plea deal in this case. If convicted, he could possibly spend the rest of his life in prison. Christina Fan, CBS News, New York.
Jury selection is expected to move quickly, and opening statements are set to begin next Monday.
As we keep an eye on your world, officials say Israel approved a new plan to capture all of Gaza and remain in the territory for an unspecified amount of time. Now, this as many vehicles were seen arriving at a military drafting station in northern Israel today. This after the Israeli army chief says after tens of thousands of reservists were called up to help expand operations in Gaza. Two Israeli officials say Israel's new plan would also push hundreds of thousands of Palestinians to southern Gaza, which would likely worsen an already dire humanitarian crisis. Now, this comes as one of Pope Francis's Pope-mobiles is being transformed into a mobile healthcare unit for children in the Gaza Strip. The Pope-mobile, used during his 2014 pilgrimage of the Holy Lands, will be retrofitted with medical equipment. Now, this was one of the Pontiff's last wishes. And two people are under arrest in Brazil, accused in a plot to bomb this weekend's free concert by Lady Gaga. Authorities carried out a raid hours before that show, saying the suspects planned to detonate explosives at the concert. The show at Rio's Copacabana Beach went off without any problems, and 2 million fans were in attendance. Police didn't say anything about the arrests until after the fact in order to avoid panic. Photos of Lady Gaga's performance were released this morning. Lady Gaga says she didn't even know about the plot until the morning after.
Well, today is Cinco de Mayo. The annual parade in Little Village has been canceled, but there are still plenty of ways to celebrate. We'll show you some of those ideas coming up next. Plus, a new clinic on Chicago's South Side aimed at making health care more accessible. It's offering critical services with no appointments needed. And today is called Melanoma Monday, what doctors want you to know about the deadliest type of skin cancer. Today is Cinco de Mayo. The annual Little Village parade has been canceled, but we've got some other ways for you to celebrate.
Contrary to popular belief, today is not Mexican Independence Day. That comes later in the year. Cinco de Mayo celebrates Mexico's 1862 victory over France during the Battle of Puebla. Fulton Market's Carnival restaurant is celebrating by serving Latin-inspired dishes and cocktails starting at 5 p.m. And from 5 to 8 this evening, there's a skate and bowl fiesta at the MLK Skating and Bowling Center. Walking tacos are available for purchase. That sounds good.
I was going to say, but don't wear white pants if you're roller skating with that.
I'm trying to eat a walking taco.
Exactly. That's not going to end well. And as we mentioned, the Little Village Parade was canceled due to deportation concerns. So while the primary concern is safety, this move will cost businesses and the community money. Organizers say the Chamber of Commerce will lose about $1.5 million by canceling this year's parade. Small businesses that depend on the crowds to eat and shop will lose $5 to $6 million. But businesses in the community have already been losing money, some down 60% since the start of this year.
We had a high clientele of Venezuelan, Colombian, Cuban, different other races, Mexican as well, and we've seen that amount of clientele decrease since the Trump administration.
But I think it's more important to be safe right now than sorry.
Organizers said they are planning for the event's return next year.
And speaking of small businesses, the city of Chicago will kick off a week-long celebration today for locally owned businesses.
This year's National Small Business Week runs from May 4th to May 10th. And right now, a city celebration is underway at Play Hyde Park, which is a local toy store. This comes as business owners are concerned about tariffs imposed by the Trump administration and whether they'll have to pass on higher costs to their customers. Today, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson, along with the Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, will talk about new resources to help local businesses.
More than 100 people in Aurora rolled up their sleeves for the 13th annual Clean Up the Streets Day this weekend. This community tradition brought participants out along the Eola Road business corridor in Ward 9 to collect trash, beautify public spaces, and strengthen neighborhood connections. The city of Aurora says at the end, volunteers filled an entire dumpster. Well, today is what's known as Melanoma Monday. It's meant to raise awareness about the deadliest form of skin cancer.
Doctors say melanoma is treatable if caught early. Jared Hill has the advice from them and one woman's survival story.
Heather Radigan says she used to worship the sun.
As a teenager, laying out in my friend's backyard with a pool, I think we would use baby oil.
The 51-year-old cringes these days, thinking about what she did to get that summer glow.
It was just sunburn after sunburn and peeling.
And as an adult, that led to multiple skin cancers. First, a basal cell carcinoma. Then a few weeks later, melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer.
And I just said, it looks like a sunspot, but it never is going away. So is that something we should be concerned about? And sure enough.
Luckily, Heather's melanoma was early stage.
Dr. Human Khorsani, a dermatological and cosmetic surgeon, removed Heather's melanoma. He says when found early, melanoma has a 99% survival rate.
So we're going to do a skin check today.
Now she gets skin checks every 3 months. Doctors recommend people check themselves at home, head to toe, once a month. Remember the ABCDEs of melanoma: asymmetry, border, color, diameter, and evolving. Even for people with darker skin, though the location may be different.
This typically happen with the digits, so toes and fingers. Those are really important. They can also have skin cancer in areas that sun doesn't shine.
What's been the biggest change in your relationship to the sun now compared to before?
I really don't enjoy the sun anymore. I used to love it.
Heather still goes out. She just wears hats, sleeves, and constantly reapplies sunscreen.
Every day. Even in the winter on a cloudy day.
Once a month.
Now sharing her story to save a life. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Doctors say you should reapply sunscreen every 2 hours, and if you're swimming or sweating, you could even make that every 30 minutes. Well, Southside Church is partnering with Advocate Healthcare to open a new clinic for non-emergency care.
It's the first of 10 neighborhood care clinics set to open across the South Side in the next 3 years. The clinic at New Covenant Missionary Baptist Church at 76th and Cottage Grove is open from 8 until 4:30 Monday through Friday. That will offer health screenings, chronic disease management, and follow-up care after ER visits. Walk-ins are welcome. You can also make an appointment by calling 312-268-6627.
Let's check in with Kylie Miller now, who's sitting right here at this desk with us. Hi, Kylie.
Hi, it's good to be with you guys.
It's good to have you Monday. It's good. I'm still thinking about the Melanoma Monday story, and I'm always surprised by the recommendation that even if it's really cloudy, that you should still wear your sunscreen.
I know, I know.
Because on a day like today, it's you think you don't need it, but you still do.
Yeah, and days like today, you even need it more so than like a sunny day. The UV index is going to be high. We're coming into that time of year, so always make sure that you are lathering on the sunscreen. Now, as we look ahead to today, the clouds are going to be winning out. We have a few areas dealing with a little bit of some light drizzle activity at the moment. 50 degrees as we take a live picture across the Midway. The winds out of the east at 8 miles per hour. That's going to keep our lakeshore communities a little bit more on the cooler end. This area of low pressure is still spinning towards our south. It's, though, giving us the chance for a few isolated raindrops for today. Right now, we have a clean sweep as we take a look at our satellite and radar. But overall, our temperature is going to be cool for today. We're still in the 40s for the Loop, same thing in Waukegan, low to mid 50s elsewhere this morning. It's going to be breezy, but I think inland our temperature is going to be making it into the 60s. For the immediate lakeshore, a little bit cooler temperatures will hover in the middle to upper 50s. So again, we're going to see a few isolated rain showers going through the rest of this morning into the afternoon. For the evening hours, we're going to be dry across Illinois, but I think for northwest Indiana, we're still going to be holding on to a chance for a few scattered rain showers overnight tonight, even lasting into early tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, though, it's going to be smooth sailing for all of us. So breaking down your 7-day weather forecast today for Cinco de Mayo, 59 degrees. A few hit and miss rain showers still possible. Overnight tonight, temperatures will drop down into the 40s. It's going to be rather chilly. Back into the low 70s for highs tomorrow with clearing sky conditions. Falling temperatures on Wednesdays. It's going to be one of those backward setups. And then as we look ahead to Friday and the upcoming weekend, lots of sunshine. Temperatures this weekend will be in the 70s. For Mother's Day, 73 degrees, looking very good. All right, let's go ahead and send things over to the First Alert Traffic Center. Hey, Chris, good to see you this morning.
Good morning, Kylie. Good to be visible. Hi, everybody. As we're getting out and about this morning, things kind of have dried out now. We had the earlier rain, light rain showers, just enough to kind of dampen things up and slow everybody down. And even though the weather's changing for the better, it's still slow. Core expressways are doing their thing there. Typical long-term road work is having its effect, especially on the Kennedy. Have, as an added bonus, some midday road work working their way outbound on the Edens right now, north of Toohey, getting up around Oakton right now, so lane or lanes may be blocked as necessary. Keep that in mind as you travel about. Chris Halbermill, CBS News Chicago.
Chris, thank you. Well, the annual Met Gala kicks off tonight, and this year's fashion theme is a nod to Black history.
And speaking of fashion, for today's Jumpstart, we're at a Lincoln Park salon sharing some prom season trends and looks, and a beautiful entrance, too. Everybody looks happy in there. We'll check in a little bit later. Welcome back. It is the first Monday in May, and that means tonight is fashion's biggest night out, the Met Gala.
The annual fundraiser raises money for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute. A-listers and trendsetters will hit the red carpet in custom couture outfits, and the theme is superfine, tailoring Black style. Guests are encouraged to dress in looks exploring Black dandyism, which comes from the intersection of African and European fashion traditions. Now, you may recognize the zoot suit, for instance, popularized during the Harlem Renaissance in the 1920s and 30s. But the term began with 18th century enslaved African Americans forced to wear fine uniforms that signaled their owners' wealth. Since then, it's been used to reclaim elegance and luxury, for empowerment, to challenge stereotypes, and to honor Black legacy. This is the Met's first exhibit centered exclusively, by the way, on Black designers.
The Met Gala co-chairs include Pharrell Williams, Coleman Domingo, A$AP Rocky, and honorary chair LeBron James. And I will say Michelle Miller did a really good story on this Met Gala and the dandyism theme yesterday for CBS Sunday morning. So if anyone's interested in doing like a little deeper dive,
check it out.
Go check it out.
Oh, I might do that myself, actually.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jackie.
Of course.
Well, next at 9:30, President Trump taking aim at moves in his escalating trade war, at movies rather, in his escalating trade war, the tax he's proposing for films shot internationally.
And the process to replace the late Pope Francis begins on Wednesday. A look at a special mass yesterday to send off Cardinal Blaise Cupich, who will be participating in the voting process.
This is CBS News Chicago.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dana Kozlov.
I'm Jackie Kostek in for Audrina. It is 9:31. Thanks so much for sticking with us on your Monday morning.
Let's start now with your First Alert forecast. Another day of sprinkles, but we are in for a warm-up.
Meteorologist Kylie Miller is in our First Alert Weather Center now, and for some reason when you said sprinkles, I was thinking of the sprinkles that you drop
like on an ice cream sundae.
I heard you laugh, and I was like, I bet you that's what you thought of.
I don't know why, but anyway, Kylie, take it away. Not those kind of sprinkles.
A few sprinkles, raindrop sprinkles are going to be in the forecast for the remainder of this morning, even into the afternoon. But right now we do have mainly dry conditions. It's just very soupy outside. We have some reduced visibility due to these low-hanging rain clouds. We're down to 2 miles for Aurora, same thing in Ottawa, 3 in Waukegan, 8 for O'Hare, so a little bit reduced there. Temperatures in the upper 40s to the low 50s, seeing a few of those isolated showers still passing through at the airports, but across Joliet, Valpo, Waukegan, holding out of cloudy sky conditions. So today our temperatures will be climbing into the upper 50s to the low 60s. I think we will start to see some late day sunshine closer to dinner time. Warmer air is expected to roll on in for tomorrow with more sunshine too. I'll show you that coming up in my next weather report. I'll send it back to you.
All right, Kylie, thanks so much. And we are following breaking news this morning after 2 shootings overnight involving Chicago police.
One took place at a home in Roseland, another at an assisted living facility in Grand Crossing. Chicago police shot and killed a person armed with a knife near 75th and Dante. At 3 this morning, police responded to that person threatening people at the Grand Regency of Jackson Park supportive living facility. Officers tried to speak with the person, they say, and then they used a stun gun, but it did not stop the suspect, and that's when police say the officers fired, killing him. The Civilian Office of Police Accountability is now investigating. And in the Roseland neighborhood, we've seen officers going in and out of a home near 106th and LaSalle. According to police scanner and neighbors, an off-duty officer fired his weapon there. COPA doesn't confirm an off-duty officer was involved, but has not released any information yet on who was injured or if anyone else fired a weapon.
Grief counselors and crisis response professionals will be at Bowles College Prep today as students and staff return. This after 3 students were shot on Friday. The 3 teenagers were shot at Jackson and Hoyne on the near west side about an hour after dismissal. One was in serious condition, the other 2 in good condition. So far, no one is in custody. The school says they are working with Chicago police to help investigate this incident. A visitation will be held today for one of the 4 girls killed in a tragic crash downstate. Riley Britton was killed after a driver crashed into an after-school program in Chatham. Police confirmed that the driver was having a seizure, and this seems to be a terrible accident. Britton's visitation is at 3 o'clock today, and she will be laid to rest tomorrow morning.
Lori Healy, who held several leadership positions in the city of Chicago, has died at the age of 65. Healy served as former Mayor Richard M. Daley's chief of staff, former CEO of the Metropolitan Pier and Exposition Authority, and most recently the leader of the Obama Presidential Center project. Her family says she passed Saturday after battling a form of pancreatic cancer. Daley honored Healy in a statement saying she was a brilliant leader whose deep commitment to public service set her apart. He also says her passing is a profound loss to him and many others in the city who will feel the impact of her extraordinary life.
President Donald Trump has a new target in the growing trade war, and that is Hollywood.
Yeah, Naomi Ruckham has more on the president's latest agenda, including an update on immigration and the future of the Republican Party.
President Donald Trump returned to the White House Sunday after another weekend at Mar-a-Lago, this time answering questions about a new potential tax in his escalating trade war, 100% tariffs on films shot internationally.
Other nations, a lot of them, have stolen our movie industry. And I'm saying if they're not willing to make a movie inside the United States, and we should have a tariff on movies that come in.
The president says foreign filmmaking presents a national security threat to the U.S., including messaging and propaganda. This just one of many news-making moments during a weekend interview on NBC's Meet the Press. When discussing the mistaken deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, President Trump said he did not know if it was his job to uphold the Constitution, and wavered when asked whether every person in the U.S. is entitled to due process.
Your Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
And when asked about the possibility of changing the Constitution to allow him to serve a 3rd term,
there are many people selling the 2028 hat. But this is not something I'm looking to do.
The president noted Vice President J.D. Vance or Secretary of State Marco Rubio as possible great successors. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
PBS and NPR say they are now looking at legal options after President Donald Trump signed an executive order aimed at slashing public subsidies for both organizations.
Both CEOs sat down with Face the Nation to talk about the impacts just days after the Trump administration's announcement. NPR says rural communities would be hit the hardest, with 20% of Americans not having access to other local news outside of NPR. And PBS's Paula Kerger says smaller stations get about 40 to 50% of their funding from the government. Now, Kerger spoke specifically about the future of popular children's programming and what's at risk without that funding.
Half the kids in this country are not enrolled in formal pre-K. That's why programming for children on public television was created. That was the idea with Sesame Street and Mr. Rogers, and everything that's followed since is to make sure that children that do not have access to a full array of resources have the opportunity to learn and to develop skills that they'll need the first time they enter preschool.
PBS will continue to have programming, but if funding is cut, programs currently in development would not be able to continue operating.
Taking a live look now at Vatican City, where the 9 days of official mourning for Pope Francis officially wrapped up yesterday. So the next step is now to search for his successor. 133 cardinals are now eligible to vote for the new pope, and that includes Chicago Archbishop Cardinal Blaise Cupich.
The conclave begins Wednesday. Our Charday Gray was at Holy Name Cathedral as worshipers extended prayers for Cardinal Cupich.
This Mass was special at Holy Name Cathedral on Sunday.
You know, Lord, that I love you.
As prayers went up because today is the official last day to mourn Pope Francis, but also to extend prayers for Cardinal Blaise Cupich as he takes part in the upcoming papal conclave.
I would hope that people will continue to pray and be supportive and recognize that this is a decisive moment in the life not only of the church, but of the world.
The papal conclave is the closely guarded gathering of the cardinal electors, all serving cardinals under the age of 80 to elect the next pope. CBS's Vince Gerasoli is in Rome and will be there for the coverage.
133 cardinals from nations all over the globe will make their way to the Sistine Chapel. They're actually going to be locked inside the chapel. The chapel has been swept to make sure that there are no electronic devices inside.
It's an important task to do that.
Gerasoli says there are 10 American cardinals in the conclave. 5 were appointed by Pope Francis. Cardinal Cupich is one of them.
It's very easy to see that in addition to being appointed by Pope Francis, that Cardinal Cupich shared an awful lot of the views of the Holy Father.
Cardinal Cupich is the first American to be made a cardinal by Francis in 2016. Father Camelli says Cardinal Cupich is doing 2 things to prepare for the conclave.
He's praying, I know that. And he's also in conversation with other cardinals and trying to hear their take on the needs of the church and the world at this moment.
Father Camelli says while they have Mass just about every day, the Mass on Wednesday at noon will be dedicated to the conclave. Reporting in Holy Name Cathedral, Charday Gray, CBS News, Chicago.
Charday, thanks so much. And again, the conclave officially begins Wednesday. We'll have special coverage beginning at 9:30 that morning, and we'll let you know as soon as the smoke coming from the Sistine Chapel turns white.
And still ahead, we can't run to the beach every time we're stressed, but in today's Mental Health Minute, how a simple location switch can reset your attitude.
And we're live at a Lincoln Park salon showing off some prom season looks. Next, we'll talk live with the owner about its work in the community.
And today is going to be a good day because it is gray and gloomy to go into the salon, but tomorrow warmer temperatures with the clearing sky condition, followed by a bigger warm up for Mother's Day weekend. Your first alert weather forecast in full detail straight ahead.
For today's Jumpstart, we're at a Lincoln Park salon sharing some popular prom season looks.
Salon Etta provides a variety of services, including hair and makeup, but they also give back to the community, which is so wonderful. Joining us back again to share more is owner Etta Cuscioni, and you have been showing us different beauty trends all morning long, so let's go over some of the top ones.
Yeah, you know, just want to remind you, really great prom looks. This is an easy braid, doing that curl that I showed you at the top of the morning. And then again, a really beautiful partial updo, where we do just a little bit of some framing, some gorgeous little frames. And then remember our gorgeous little bun that you could do for any day, but certainly going for a wedding. Very easy, 2 ponytails wrapped around each other.
I love it.
There's something that I love about creating. Oh no, yeah, right?
They look so beautiful. And I really want to get to this program that you have. It's called Beauty Flip Program, and it's one of the ways that you are giving back to the community that you serve. So what exactly is that program and how does it work?
Beauty Flip is one of our really cool programs that empowers women to flip the script on where they stop judging themselves and really start to harness their values and become empowered to do what they are meant to do here in our communities, at their workforces, and their family. And then we add to them the gorgeous looks that provide that sort of extra reflection out into the world.
That's awesome. All right, we also want to talk about the fact that you have a donation, a check to present today. You want to tell me about that?
Yeah, so as a company, we always believe in giving back and making beautiful contributions to the community. So excited. Back in 2015, I met the people at Lincoln Park Community Services, which is an amazing homeless shelter in the Lincoln Park, through Lincoln Park Chamber. If you don't belong to a chamber, please do. There are amazing ways to connect and contribute. And today, through the salon and through our wellness center, Bob, we have raised $10,112.
Thank you so much for that. That's unbelievable. Thank you. Amazing work. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Ida, that's so great.
So my husband and I
was going to say that's just so great, and it's such a great way to end our morning with you, with that wonderful donation, you know, which I'm sure will help so many people.
Absolutely, and we're just so thrilled. Everyone here at the salon is so grateful for Jumpstart with Jackie and CBS Morning News. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Etta. We appreciate it so much, and people will have to head up to your salon if they're looking for that good prom look or any of the other things that you've got to offer, because you've got a lot going on up there, and we love it. Etta, thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day, you guys.
You too. And congratulations. More than $10,000
That's
raised.
really amazing.
Huge.
You know, it's so important to give back. I mean, I don't mean to sound preachy. I'm being a little preachy. But it's so important to give back to your community if you are able, you know. I mean, it really makes a difference. So that's just how cool to end that way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You guys, which of those styles would you have gone with?
I liked the nice little updo, little bun.
Yes. I liked that too.
That pulled back moment. That was very
super
sleek.
Yes, and elegant, classy. You know, almost anyone can do it. I'm going to try to practice that at home for my next big thing. I don't know if I have enough hair.
Tomorrow morning, we'll see what the
No, you will not. I can't do that at 4 o'clock in the morning.
You can always practice on me.
That's true, yes. I did like the braid, too. I thought that would go well with like an ethereal kind of dress, like a good flowy prom dress. I don't know.
That'd be really pretty.
See.
Yeah.
Well, it is prom season.
Right.
It
is. It's not prom weather. At least you hope this isn't prom weather, right, today.
Yeah, if anyone does have prom this weekend, I know it's Mother's Day weekend, but for any of those dances going on this weekend, our weather looks really good.
Great.
Ooh, that's good.
So once we get through today is just going to be the gray and gloomy day out of the week, so we're getting that done today. By tomorrow, it is going to be smooth sailing. So spotty rain showers are in the forecast today. By tonight, drier air tomorrow, warmer temperatures back into the low 70s. It will be cooler for the immediate lake shore, however, and that's going to stay that way for these next several days. Wednesday, it's going to be one of those backward setups where temperatures fall during the afternoon period, so we're going to reach our high for the early morning hours. So this area of low pressure is still spinning to our south. It's been very pesky. It's still going to be with us for the next about 12 to 16 hours, and then after that, it is going to be long gone. We're holding on to the clouds for today. Some reduced visibility from time to time, too, due to that fog, but we are finally going to see some late day sunshine closer to about dinner time for tonight. tonight. Just to be on the safe side, make sure you carry that umbrella with you. If not, have a jacket with a hood, because we're going to be monitoring a few light areas of sprinkle activity, drizzle for the remainder of today. And then finally, across Illinois, we're going to have drier conditions tonight, but I still think for Northwest Indiana, we're going to be dealing with a few of these hit and miss rain showers overnight, even into the start of tomorrow. But tomorrow afternoon, for a good majority of us, dry conditions with more sunshine too. For today, 59 for your high, a few passing rain showers. It's going to be breezy at times for today. The winds will relax for tonight. Temperatures getting chilly tonight, falling down into the 40s. The shower is going to come to an end. It is going to be cloudy and cool. And then tomorrow, 71 for your high with that clearing sky condition. But it's going to be cooler for the immediate lake shore for these next few days. Again, our temperatures kind of could be up and down too. We're looking at 60 degrees on your Thursday, back into the mid 60s by Friday, and then get ready for the 70s for Mother's Day weekend with a lot of sunshine. Alrighty, let's go ahead and send things over to Chris in the First Alert Traffic Center.
Sounds like Mom and everybody else are really going to like those days coming up for the weekend. As you are making a way through your Monday, you're going to start to run into some midday road work now that the weather has kind of been improving and things are drying out. We're starting to see some lane closures on the southbound side of I-55 past 355. At least one lane is down with some midday patchwork going on there. We get in a little bit closer. Last time up, we talked about moving midday road work on the outbound side of the Edens. They're making their way up past Golf Road almost to Old Orchard now. So you're on the brakes right around Niles Center all the way up to that. And the lane or lanes will be blocked as necessary. Last I heard, they were on the right shoulder. Still gathering attention nonetheless. Have a great day. Drive safe. Let's be nice to each other. Chris Habermill, CBS News Chicago.
I'm Marisa Vedra with today's Mental Health Minute. Have you ever found yourself really stuck in a cycle? Maybe it's worrying about a specific project or just going round and round on something that's stressing you out. If so, there is a really powerful yet small change you can make to break out of that cycle. We're talking about this skill today with Shelley Paxton. She is the author of Soulbatical. Shelley, you're encouraging us to change our physical space in order to change our mindset.
Yeah, so think about it this way. When we're feeling overwhelmed or maybe anxious or really stuck in a problem, our inclination is to push harder and just dig in until we're pulling our hair out. But research shows that a small shift in physical location can actually unlock a big shift in our mental clarity and well-being, and even in our creativity.
Nice. And this doesn't have to be like a, you're going on a vacation, or you don't even necessarily have to get in your car and go somewhere.
This is what I love to say. I'm like, listen, it's not about a flight to Bora Bora, although we can all dream. I am not squashing your dream. But this is about giving yourself permission to shift. It might be from your couch to your favorite cafe. It might be from your desk to your patio or your backyard, or maybe even your favorite park. Or if you're limited, from one room to the next in whatever your workspace is. But it's allowing yourself to simply move, because research says that even a short walk, especially if it involves nature, it can spark new ideas and new perspectives. So think about it this way. Changing your setting is like hitting the refresh button in your brain.
So try to shake things up by actually getting up and moving to a new location. And you never know what sort of creative juices or helpful ideas may come from it the next time you take a minute for your mental health.
And for more quick ways to boost your spirit, head to cbschicago.com/mental health minute. You'll find all of our helpful ideas to de-stress and have a better day. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. Here's a look at the stories that we are keeping an eye on today. 2 shootings overnight involving Chicago police.
Chicago police shot and killed a person armed with a knife near 75th and Dante. Officers say the person was threatening people at an assisted living facility. They used a taser, but when it didn't stop the suspect, they fired, killing the person. The Civilian Office of Police Accountability is investigating.
And they are also investigating after a shooting in the Roseland neighborhood at a home near 106 in LaSalle. According to police scanner and neighbors, an off-duty officer fired his weapon. weapon. The COPA does confirm an off-duty officer was involved, but has not released any information yet on who was injured or if anyone else fired a weapon.
Jury selection is underway in the high-profile case against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The potential jurors will be asked a series of questions, both from Sean Diddy Combs' defense and federal prosecutors. Combs is facing 5 federal charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. He has pleaded not guilty to all of those charges.
And a final look of your first alert weather forecast today, 59. I think inland temperature's going to be in the 60s. South of the city, isolated rain showers, late day clearing. Tomorrow, more sunshine and warmer with a high of 71. Falling temperatures on Wednesday. Then we're going to be seeing improvement with our weather, with our temperatures back into the mid 60s by Friday. 70s returning for Mother's Day weekend with a lot of sunshine pretty much each and every day. So we just have to get through the gray and gloomy sky conditions for your Monday.
All right, lots to look forward to. Yeah, for sure, Kylie. Thank you. And thank you so much for joining us here on the News at 9. Your local news continues right here on the stream.
Have a great day and stay safe.